How you guys doing? This is the brand new HPI Savage XL. And this right here is the outgoing generation Savage XL. I figured why not compare them both together. Hood to hood, side by side. Good start. I've placed both of them side by side. This is probably going to be the best way to determine the differences. And we will start out with the wheels. I would say the most obvious part, the tires and the bodies. Take a look at these wheels, guys. The outgoing Savage XL is known for these Terrapin tires. The newer XL has the same exact size tire as the GT6 model. And yes, they are substantially smaller. So you're probably thinking, well, what about speed? If you have smaller tires on the new Savage, doesn't that mean you're gonna cover less distance for the same amount of RPM? And the answer is yes, it does mean exactly that. But this new Savage has updated gear ratios inside the 3-speed transmission, and apparently it will compensate for that. In terms of shock geometry, one of the most obvious differences, the outgoing Savage XL has dual shocks per each axle. The newer model has opted for a single shock setup, but they are quite nice. The regular GT6 model has single set shocks. Suspension dampening is incredible on the new one. I would say it is perfect. I'm applying a good amount of pressure here to the front bumper, and it has not bottomed out. Let's check out the older style suspension. I would say it's still held up really well over the many years of ownership on my end. Overall ride height, let's see. I'm going to push this all the way up and this one all the way up. As they settle, they seem to be similar. But I would say honestly, the older style Savage is a little bit more monster truck-like, as expected due to the larger wheels and tires. Overall tire compound on the new XL, nice, soft, smooth. If you look at them both, you're probably asking yourself, man, these are some wide stances. The suspension, it is wide. Well, I'll tell you guys why. The Savage XL has wheel extensions. If you look way deep on the inside there, those purple parts, those are the wheel extensions. The new Savage also has wheel extensions. You can take a look at that silver sleeve right before it hits the 17mm hub. We got ourselves some wheel extensions. The overall stance on the new Savage, I would say, is awesome in my opinion. The body, it's beautiful. You know, at first, I wasn't extremely happy about the new angular body, all of these kind of like squares, but I have come to love it. The old school Savage was known for one of the best looking bodies in the monster truck industry, but the new one has not disappointed me. Let's take a look at both of them with the bodies removed. From the top down view, they look extremely similar. There's only one obvious discernible difference, and that is the color and the shape of the cooling head on each one. The new generation of Savage has the F5.9 motor, identical in displacement to the outgoing K5.9 big block. Rated at about the same horsepower. This is 3.75. The newer one is claimed to be, as HPI says, around 4 horsepower. Pretty sure they took 3.75 and rounded it up. Nothing wrong with that. I am a big supporter of math. You want to round up? Go ahead. They both come with polished aluminum tuned pipes. The older generation one has the HPI Racing logo on the side. I like that. It's a nice little touch. Only the XL models had that. The new model, it looks more like an off-the-shelf type of aluminum pipe. No HPI logo on the side. But the chassis tells you that it's a Savage XL. Notice that. I like it. It looks pretty good. Savage XL and the X on the chassis TVP plate. Same exact chassis setup on the old school XL. Now, one thing my Savage has that the newer generation doesn't have, and I think it should have been included. We have an optional HPI battery meter. If I power it on, you could see the lights. Well, to the camera, they look like they're blinking, but they are not blinking, guys. Trust me. We have a full charged battery pack here. Something I think HPI should re-release is this optional battery meter gauge that the Savage radio box always had. If you take a look at the new one, you could see the little grommet here, which is where that optional battery meter gauge should go. I really wish they would have included it. I am happy to see that the new Savage includes exactly the same size giant dual stage air filter as the old generation. If you take a look under the first layer of the foam, there is a really well oiled internal filter as well. You know, one of the ways to really kill the engine life on your Nitro of any kind is to get dirt inside the motor. By including a dual stage air filter, I think HPI really, they're looking out for all of us, guys. They don't want us to kill them, and that's quite nice. In terms of length, obviously they are both about the same if you consider the different diameter size tires. Bumper to bumper, they are the same. I am happy to say that the newer style bumper has carried over to the new XL from the GT6. They are fairly strong. I am having fairly rough time bending it here with my hands. The older style bumper was way more flexible, which is good for damage impact absorption, but I would say the new one is quite a good looking bumper. It also comes fully LED ready. If you wanted to, you could put some LEDs here, and you have some smaller accent LEDs on the right side. The shock setup, I could see we have two different springs, so we have different spring rates. There is a divider here, so we have a spring that compresses relatively quick here on top, and a spring that compresses slower here on the bottom. So we have dual rate springs is what they are called. The older generation of Savage, well, they just got two shocks that are much thinner, and they are not dual rate springs. Dual rate springs is really what you do want for landing a jump. It gives you a good amount of dampening as you're going around the turn, but when you're taking a landing kind of hard on the ground, you're not going to bottom out as much because one of the springs just doesn't compress as easily as the other portion, and that is dual rate progressive springs. Quite sure they're usually referred to as progressive rate springs. The new Savage does also come with a head protector, kind of a roll cage setup. This will be installed later on, and it is a great idea. Another awesome feature on the new Savage, we have nice crystal clear fuel lines. So this one has already been started and broken in. We could see fuel inside. The old generation Savage, these are the original fuel lines. It had these dark gray, kind of hard to see through fuel lines. I am a big proponent of crystal clear fuel lines. One obvious difference I am not too thrilled about with regard to the new Savage XL is the absence of this giant, sickening wheelie bar. Now, I've already examined the package contents on the new Savage. There is no included wheelie bar. You gotta admit it, guys. You need that wheelie bar. Well, maybe there is an optional one available. I wouldn't deny that. It's highly possible. Another interesting design element I have come across as I was looking at some of the included tools that came with it. Here we have the wheel nut wrench, 17mm hub. So you would think, oh yeah, you could just take off the 17mm hubs with this. Well, not really. There is a plastic extension that has to be inserted into the wheel nut wrench. This is the only way you will be able to access the highly deeply recessed 17mm hub. Yep, that's how it would look. So in case you're trying to use your standard 17mm hub wrench, it's not going to be that easy. You need to use that plastic adapter that will lock it into place. You want to get a new Savage, but you can't afford it? I got a little bit of a surprise for you guys. You can at least make your old Savage look like the brand new one. I'm going to tell you a little secret. This body fits on the old generation of Savage. Check this out. I'm going to put it on. You see that? That is beautiful. Now, I've just mounted the new body on the old school Savage. I gotta tell you, I really like the way it looks. Even the original bumper setup here in the front, the layout, everything is clean. I think if you're on a budget and $700 is just not something you want to spend, because, you know, inflation, grocery bills went up, but you still want to make your Nitro look like a brand new one, get yourself the new GT6 style body and put it on your old school Savage. It's going to be a direct fit. Well guys, thank you all for watching. Just a quick little comparison video of the new Savage XL compared to my old generation XL. Much more in the future. See you guys next time. Good start. Nitro World Order.
Nitro World Order. Nitro World Order.